Do not rush past this moment. If you are here, it means something unseen guided you to pause. Right now, as these words reach you, there is a presence that does not want you listening. Not because you are weak, but because you are waking up. You have felt it for months. That strange heaviness when something good was about to happen. That sudden delay. That unexplained loss of joy. The way your hope felt borrowed, then quietly taken back. You blamed yourself. You thought you were unlucky. You wondered if you had done something wrong. But listen carefully. This was never about your worth. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity, not fear. He says the moment you became aware, the power that watched you began to shake. Not because you are attacking, but because awareness removes influence. There are forces that survive only when you doubt yourself. They grow only when you forget who you are. They stay strong only when you keep scrolling past your own awakening. That is why you were told not to skip. You are not here by accident. This message did not land on your screen randomly. It reached you because something that never belonged to you was taken. And now it is being called back. Think about it. The opportunities that slipped away at the last second. The peace you had as a child that faded too early. The confidence that once lived in you, then slowly went silent. Those were not lost. They were paused. Archangel Michael says nothing real can be stolen forever. Only delayed. And delay ends the moment you recognize the truth. Right now, the energy that fed on your confusion can no longer hide. Because you are listening. Because you did not look away. Because you stayed. This is why your heart feels tight while hearing this. This is why your eyes feel heavy. This is why something inside you is saying, "This is for me." You were meant to hear this before it disappeared. Not to frighten you, but to remind you. You are protected. You always were. The moment you began questioning why your life felt blocked, help was already moving toward you. The moment you whispered, even silently, "There has to be more than this," you were heard. And now the illusion is trembling. Because illusions cannot survive truth. Archangel Michael says the power over you was never strong. It only appeared strong when you forgot your own light. You are not broken. You are not late. You are not cursed. You were paused until the right moment. This is that moment. Do you notice how your breathing has changed since this began? Do you notice how something feels calmer, even while the words are intense? That is not coincidence. That is alignment. What was taken from you is already turning back toward you. Not all at once, but step by step, moment by moment. Starting now. Stay here. Do not rush. Do not doubt. This message is still open. And as long as it remains open, your path remains unlocked. Stay exactly where you are. Because what comes next explains everything you could never put into words. Archangel Michael reveals that when something precious is delayed in your life, it is never random. Delays are signals. They point to moments when your light was noticed. There was a time when your energy became stronger than you realized. Not loud, not dramatic. Quiet strength is the most threatening kind. You didn't announce it. You simply survived things that should have broken you. You kept kindness when bitterness was easier. You held faith when logic said to give up. That is when attention shifted toward you. Not because you were weak, but because you were becoming free. Certain forces cannot touch courage directly. They can only distract it. They can only confuse it. They can only convince it to doubt itself. That is why your mind felt crowded at night. That is why your motivation came and went without reason. That is why clarity appeared for a moment, then vanished. Archangel Michael says this was never punishment. It was resistance. And resistance only appears when something valuable is moving forward. Right now, something important is happening. The moment you continue listening, your awareness expands. And awareness is the one thing that dissolves all false power. This is why the message feels alive. This is why it feels like it is speaking directly to you. Because it is. There was a season where your joy was quietly redirected away from you. Not destroyed. Redirected. Think about it. The happiness you almost reached. The version of you that almost arrived. The peace you felt just before everything slowed down. That version of you still exists. Archangel Michael says nothing that belongs to your soul can be erased. It waits, patient, untouched. And now it is responding to you. The fear you sense is not yours. The trembling is not coming from your side. It is the reaction of something that knows its time is ending. Because once you see clearly, influence fades. Once you remember who you are, nothing false can remain attached. This is why you were guided here before this message disappeared. Because timing matters. And you arrived exactly on time. Do not question why you feel emotional. Do not analyze every sentence. Let it move through you. You are not being warned. You are being restored. Every moment you stay present, another layer loosens. Another burden lifts. Another piece of you comes back home. Archangel Michael says your path was never blocked. It was protected until you were ready to walk it without fear. And now you are. Stay with this. Because what returns next is not small. Breathe slowly and stay present. Because this part reveals why your life felt paused while others moved ahead. Archangel Michael says there was a moment when your future tried to arrive early. You were not ready to see it yet. Not because you lacked strength, but because you still carried too much self-doubt. When doubt is active, blessings hesitate. Not to punish you, but to protect what is coming. You may remember feeling close to a breakthrough. So close it almost felt cruel when nothing happened. You replayed conversations. You questioned decisions. You wondered if you missed your chance. You didn't. What you felt was alignment forming. Alignment always feels uncomfortable before it becomes visible. Archangel Michael says something important about you was noticed long before you noticed it yourself. Your patience. Your empathy. Your ability to remain gentle in harsh seasons. These qualities are not common. And they carry weight. When your inner strength increased, resistance increased too. Not as an attack, but as confusion. Confusion makes people turn against themselves. Confusion makes them give up right before clarity arrives. That is why this message reached you now. Not earlier. Not later. Now. Because your awareness is steady enough to hold what returns. You are not here to fight anything. You are here to remember. The moment you remember who you are, everything false dissolves naturally. No struggle. No force. No fear. Archangel Michael says your light does not need to prove itself. It only needs to be acknowledged. Notice how the heaviness you once carried feels lighter than before. Notice how your thoughts feel quieter. That is not imagination. That is release. What was taken from you could only stay hidden while you forgot your value. Now that value is visible again. And when value is seen, balance restores itself. You are stepping back into your timeline. The one that always belonged to you. The one where peace arrives without effort. The one where progress feels natural. This is why scrolling felt impossible today. This is why something inside told you to stay. Because your season is shifting. Silently, gently, irreversibly. Remain here. Because the next part explains what begins to return first. Stay with this moment. Because this is where the return begins. Archangel Michael says restoration does not arrive loudly. It arrives quietly. So nothing interferes. The first thing that comes back to you is not an object, not a person, not a situation. It is clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about what never belonged to your pain. Clarity about why certain doors closed without explanation. Those doors did not close to block you. They closed to redirect you. There were paths you almost walked that would have drained your spirit. There were connections that looked right but would have dimmed your light. There were moments when delay saved you without you realizing it. Archangel Michael says protection often looks like loss until understanding arrives. And understanding is arriving now. Notice how your body feels as you hear this. The tension you carried for so long is loosening. The urgency you once felt is calming. That calm is important, because what returns next needs peace to stay. Your confidence is coming back in a new form. Not loud, not restless, steady. This time, you will not chase what is meant for you. It will recognize you. You will notice changes in small ways first. Your thoughts will become kinder to yourself. Your sleep will feel deeper. Your decisions will feel easier. These are signs of alignment. Archangel Michael says when what was delayed returns, it does not return empty. It returns matured. The strength you lost comes back wiser. The joy you missed comes back fuller. The peace you longed for comes back rooted. Nothing can interrupt this once it begins, because it is not forced. It is natural. You are stepping into a phase where effort feels lighter, where resistance fades on its own, where progress no longer feels like a fight. That is why you were guided to stay until now, not to be convinced, but to remember. Remember that you were never powerless. Remember that your story was never over. Remember that what belongs to you always finds its way back. Hold this feeling, because what unfolds after this continues to build. And this time, nothing pauses it. Stay with this feeling a little longer, because this part explains why your future feels closer than ever before. Archangel Michael says when restoration begins, it moves in layers. First the heart, then the mind, then the path. You may start noticing that situations which once confused you now feel obvious. Choices that felt heavy now feel clear. People who drained you begin to drift away without conflict. This is not loss. This is alignment completing itself. You are no longer available for what weakens you. And because of that, what strengthens you can finally reach you. There was a version of you that kept giving, even when empty. That version carried others while forgetting itself. That version was strong, but tired. Archangel Michael says that version is resting now. In its place is a steadier presence. One that does not rush. One that does not beg for signs. One that trusts its own inner knowing. This shift is powerful, because nothing false can attach to calm confidence. The things that once interrupted your momentum no longer recognize you. They depended on your uncertainty, and that uncertainty is fading. You are entering a phase where your energy speaks before your words do, where your presence opens doors quietly, where progress feels natural, not forced. This is why patience mattered. This is why timing mattered. This is why you were asked to stay. Archangel Michael says the return is not dramatic because it is permanent. What stays does not need to announce itself. You will begin to feel supported without knowing why. You will feel guided without being pushed. You will feel peaceful without explanation. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. You are no longer waiting for life to change. Life is adjusting around you. Hold on to this awareness. Because what continues from here builds on itself. And this time, nothing interrupts the flow. Stay present, because this part reveals why everything around you is beginning to respond differently. Archangel Michael says there is a moment when balance quietly returns, and most people miss it because they are still looking for signs. You did not miss it. You are inside it. You may notice that problems which once demanded your attention are losing their grip. They still exist, but they no longer control your emotions. That is a powerful shift. Control dissolves when fear dissolves. You are no longer reacting from survival. You are responding from awareness. This is why conversations feel different now. Why silence feels comfortable instead of empty. Why being alone no longer feels like absence. Archangel Michael says your inner ground has stabilized. And when the ground is steady, nothing can shake the structure built on it. There was a time when you kept searching for reassurance, looking for confirmation outside yourself, waiting for something to tell you that you were on the right path. Now, that knowing comes from within. That is not arrogance. That is alignment. You are beginning to trust your timing, your instincts, your pace. And because of that, life is adjusting to meet you where you stand. Things that once required effort now unfold smoothly. Opportunities appear without pressure. Support arrives without you asking. This is how restoration completes itself. Not through force, but through flow. Archangel Michael says when what was delayed finally returns, it does not return to chaos. It returns to order. You are no longer carrying what was never yours. You are no longer responsible for fixing everything. You are no longer holding weight that belonged to the past. Notice how your shoulders feel lighter. Notice how your thoughts slow down. That is your system resetting. This is why staying mattered. Because understanding locks the shift into place. Nothing is being taken from you now. Everything is finding you. Remain still with this awareness. Because what comes next settles it permanently. Stay here. Because this part explains why this change cannot be reversed. Archangel Michael says there is a point of no return in every awakening. Not a dramatic moment. A quiet one. That point is reached when you stop asking who you need to become. And remember who you already are. You have crossed that point. You are no longer moving forward with doubt in your hands. You are moving with understanding. That is why nothing feels rushed anymore. That is why fear no longer argues with your decisions. That is why peace is beginning to feel normal. Archangel Michael says when truth settles in the heart, nothing false can attach again. It simply has nowhere to stand. You may notice that old worries try to return, but they feel weaker now. They knock, but you do not answer. They speak, but you do not react. That is mastery. Not control over life. Control over response. The season you are entering does not require struggle. It requires presence. Your clarity protects you now. Your calm shields you. Your awareness keeps your path clear. What once watched you with confidence no longer has certainty. Because certainty belongs to those who know themselves. You are not being followed. You are being led. Led toward steadier days. Led toward honest connections. Led toward progress that does not cost your peace. Archangel Michael says this restoration did not come to excite you for a moment. It came to stabilize you for a lifetime. The things that return to you now will stay, because you are no longer the version of you that lost them. Hold this knowing. Let it settle. You did not skip for a reason. You stayed because your time arrived. And from this moment forward, your path remains clear. Remain exactly where you are. Because this part seals what has already begun. Archangel Michael says there is a moment when the mind stops searching and the soul starts speaking. You are touching that moment now. This is why silence feels different. It no longer feels empty. It feels full. The noise that once surrounded your thoughts is fading. Not because problems vanished, but because they no longer define you. You are beginning to see your life from above the struggle, not inside it. That shift changes everything. Archangel Michael says when perspective rises, fear loses its voice. Fear can only whisper when you are no longer listening. You may notice that memories which once hurt feel distant now. They still exist, but they no longer pull you back. That is not forgetting. That is healing completing itself. Your energy is stabilizing at a higher level. And higher levels do not entertain chaos. This is why your reactions are calmer. Why patience feels natural. Why you no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. You are not withdrawing. You are centering. What once tried to distract you cannot follow you here. It does not understand stillness. It does not survive clarity. Archangel Michael says your awareness has become your protection. Not something you wear, something you are. From this point forward, you will notice fewer struggles, but stronger direction. Less noise, but clearer answers. Less effort, but greater movement. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are no longer seeking validation. You are simply moving as yourself. This is the stage where your life begins responding instead of resisting, where doors open without force, where timing aligns without stress. Hold this awareness gently. Do not rush it. Let it become familiar. Because once this state settles, nothing pulls you back. You stayed until now for a reason, and that reason is already working in your favor. Stay with this stillness, because this part explains why your future is no longer uncertain. Archangel Michael says there comes a time when destiny stops testing and starts cooperating. That time has arrived for you. You may notice that you are no longer worried about outcomes the way you used to be, not because you stopped caring, but because trust has replaced fear. This is a rare shift. Most people never reach it. You reached it because you stayed present when it mattered. You listened when distraction was easier. You chose awareness over escape. That choice changed your direction. Archangel Michael says when the inner battle ends, the outer struggle loses purpose. Nothing needs to block you anymore. This is why resistance feels weaker. Why delays dissolve quietly. Why your path feels clearer without explanation. You are no longer being prepared. You are being placed. Placed where your energy belongs. Placed where effort feels natural. Placed where growth no longer costs peace. You may sense a calm confidence settling in. Not excitement. Not urgency. Certainty. Certainty does not shout. It stays. This is the version of you that nothing can shake. Because it is not built on expectation. It is built on knowing. Archangel Michael says what was once watching you no longer understands you. Because you have moved beyond its reach. You are no longer living from reaction. You are living from alignment. And alignment attracts only what matches it. From this point forward, you will notice fewer questions and stronger answers. Fewer signs and deeper understanding. Less effort and more flow. Stay grounded in this awareness. Let it settle into you. Because the final phase completes what has already begun. Stay here until the end. Because this part completes the circle. Archangel Michael says there is a final shift that happens when nothing inside you is resisting anymore. Not even quietly. Not even unconsciously. That shift has begun. You are no longer measuring yourself against the past. You are no longer waiting to become someone else. You are standing fully as you are. And that changes everything. This is why your future no longer feels heavy. Why tomorrow does not feel threatening. Why uncertainty no longer feels like danger. Archangel Michael says when identity settles, destiny responds. You are no longer chasing what was taken. What belongs to you is already returning on its own timeline. Calmly, naturally, without force. This is the moment where effort ends and alignment continues. Where fear releases its final grip. Where peace becomes permanent. You will notice that your life begins to move forward without drama. Progress will feel quiet but steady. Growth will feel gentle but real. Nothing needs to be proven now. Nothing needs to be defended. You are protected by clarity, guided by awareness, anchored in truth. Archangel Michael says this message reached you because you were ready to receive it fully. And because you stayed, its purpose is complete. From this point on, your path remains open. Your peace remains intact. Your direction remains clear. You did not miss anything. You did not arrive late. You arrived exactly when everything aligned. Hold this knowing as you move forward. because it moves with you now. Stay with this awareness a little longer, because this part explains why your life will not return to the old pattern. Archangel Michael says there is a difference between change and completion. Change can reverse. Completion cannot. What you experienced was not a moment. It was a transition. You are no longer standing at the edge of understanding. You stepped into it. This is why old habits feel unfamiliar now. Why reactions you once had do not come naturally anymore. Why silence feels safer than noise. You did not lose anything. You outgrew it. Archangel Michael says when growth completes, the past stops calling. It may whisper, but it has no authority. You may notice that you no longer feel pulled backward by memory. Even difficult moments feel neutral now. They exist, but they do not define you. That neutrality is powerful. It means your energy is no longer leaking into what has already passed. It means your focus belongs fully to what is forming. And something is forming. Not with urgency, not with pressure, with certainty. Your future is aligning quietly because it recognizes you. You are no longer chasing direction. Direction is matching your pace. Archangel Michael says when a person becomes steady within, the world responds with stability. Opportunities stop testing. Paths stop twisting. You will notice fewer interruptions. Fewer delays that make no sense. Fewer emotional highs and lows. Balance is settling in. This is the phase where you do not need reminders anymore. You feel grounded without effort. You trust without forcing. Nothing needs to watch you now. Nothing needs to interfere. You are moving forward in your own authority. Calm, clear, unshaken. Remain in this awareness as you continue. Because this stability is not temporary. It is who you are now. Stay present, because this part reveals what settles into your life next. Archangel Michael says after stability comes authority. Not authority over others. Authority over your own direction. You will begin to notice that you no longer ask for permission to feel at peace. You no longer explain your choices. You no longer justify your timing. This is not withdrawal. This is self-trust becoming permanent. The need to rush is dissolving. The need to prove is fading. The need to be understood by everyone is leaving quietly. Archangel Michael says when inner certainty forms, the outer world adjusts without resistance. You may feel guided toward fewer things, but those few things will feel right. Your energy will stop scattering. Your focus will become precise. This is where your power was always meant to live. Nothing dramatic announces this phase. It feels simple, clear, grounded. You wake up with steadier thoughts. You move through the day without internal argument. You end moments without regret. This is alignment expressing itself through calm action. What once distracted you cannot hold your attention anymore. What once confused you no longer fits. What once drained you no longer reaches you. Archangel Michael says your awareness has matured. And maturity protects without effort. You are no longer searching for reassurance because you recognize your own truth. You are no longer waiting for signs because you feel direction internally. This is why the message stayed with you. This is why you stayed with the message. From this point forward, your life responds to clarity, not chaos. Your steps follow knowing, not fear. Hold this presence gently. Let it move with you. Because this is not a phase passing through you. This is the foundation you stand on now. Stay with this calm. Because this part explains why your presence now carries weight. Archangel Michael says there is a stage where nothing needs to be announced anymore. Your energy speaks before words do. You may notice people respond to you differently. Not with fear. With respect. With ease. This is not something you practiced. It is something you became. You are no longer leaking attention into places that do not deserve it. You are no longer explaining yourself to be accepted. You are no longer shrinking to keep others comfortable. That version of you has ended. Archangel Michael says when self-respect stabilizes, the world recalibrates. Boundaries appear without being spoken. Balance establishes itself naturally. You will feel it in conversations, in decisions, in how quickly confusion dissolves now. What once felt complicated becomes simple. What once felt heavy becomes light. What once felt distant moves closer without effort. This is not luck. This is alignment holding. You are now walking at the speed of your truth. Not faster. Not slower. That pace is protected. Nothing pulls you off course now because nothing inside you is uncertain. You are not searching for direction. You are moving from it. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where influence ends and clarity remains, where interference loses interest, where your path stays quiet and clear. You may not feel excitement. You will feel certainty, and certainty lasts. Remain in this awareness as you continue forward, because from here, your life does not need correction. It needs continuation. Stay steady in this moment, because this part reveals why peace is no longer something you chase. Archangel Michael says there comes a time when peace stops visiting and starts living with you. You have entered that time. You may notice that even when challenges appear, they do not shake you the way they once did. They exist, but they do not dominate. They speak, but they do not command. This is not numbness. This is strength without tension. Your nervous energy has settled. Your inner dialogue has softened. Your heart no longer braces for impact. Archangel Michael says when fear releases its last grip, life stops testing resilience. It begins supporting direction. You are now moving through situations with clarity instead of reaction. You listen more deeply. You respond more simply. You walk away sooner from what does not align. Nothing about this feels dramatic. And that is why it lasts. You are no longer trying to protect yourself. You are naturally protected by awareness. What once tried to disturb your balance no longer finds entry. It does not recognize this version of you, and it cannot follow where you are standing now. Archangel Michael says this is the stage where your life stops repeating lessons. The cycle completes. You will notice that familiar struggles do not return. Old patterns do not restart. Former fears feel irrelevant. This is completion settling into form. Your days begin to feel consistent. Your nights feel quieter. Your thoughts feel ordered. This is not an ending. This is continuity without disruption. Remain grounded in this presence. Because from here, your path does not fracture. It flows forward with calm certainty. Stay with this calm awareness. Because this part reveals what finally settles for good. Archangel Michael says there is a moment when the heart stops guarding itself. Not because danger vanished, but because wisdom took its place. You are no longer scanning the future for threats. You are no longer replaying the past for answers. Your attention has returned to the present. That is where your strength lives. You may notice a new simplicity in your desires. You want less, but what you want feels true. You move slower, but you arrive faster. This is not hesitation. This is precision. Archangel Michael says when intention becomes clear, effort becomes light. Life stops pushing back. It starts cooperating. You will feel it in how quickly decisions settle now. In how easily you let go. In how little noise you tolerate. What once demanded explanation now needs none. What once required effort now unfolds naturally. You are not waiting anymore. You are allowing. And allowance changes everything. This is the stage where your life begins to mirror your inner order. Calm attracts calm. Clarity attracts clarity. Nothing is trying to interrupt this anymore. Nothing needs to. You are walking forward without resistance inside you. And that is why nothing resists you outside. Hold this understanding. Gently. Let it become familiar. Because this is not a moment passing through you. This is the rhythm you move with now. Remain with this presence. Because this part explains why nothing can pull you back now. Archangel Michael says there is a final internal shift that changes how reality responds to you. It happens when you stop trying to hold things together and realize they are already holding themselves. You are no longer managing life. You are moving with it. This is why effort feels different, why resistance feels rare, why even uncertainty no longer feels heavy. You are not pushing anymore. You are aligned. Archangel Michael says alignment is invisible, but its effects are undeniable. Things fall into place without explanation. Support appears without request. Timing works without pressure. You may notice that problems resolve themselves before growing large, that misunderstandings clear quickly, that delays shorten. This is not coincidence. This is order restoring itself around you. You are no longer available for chaos. Not emotionally, not mentally, not energetically, and because of that, chaos cannot stay. Your inner world has reached a steady rhythm. Thoughts arise and pass without pulling you. Feelings move without overwhelming you. That steadiness is power. Archangel Michael says when inner steadiness is achieved, nothing external needs to be controlled. Life adjusts automatically. You are now walking forward without carrying yesterday, without anticipating disaster, without rehearsing disappointment. That freedom changes everything. You may not feel excitement. You will feel certainty. You will feel grounded. You will feel present. This is the state where your life stops correcting itself, because it no longer needs correction. Stay grounded in this awareness, because from here, your path continues uninterrupted. Stay with this quiet strength, because this part reveals what begins to move toward you now. Archangel Michael says when inner resistance ends, life responds with precision. Not excess, not chaos. Precision. You may notice that the right people appear at the right time, that conversations feel purposeful, that chances no longer feel random. This is not luck aligning. This is order recognizing you. You are no longer pulled into situations that drain you. You are no longer delayed by confusion. You are no longer distracted by noise. Your focus has sharpened without force. Archangel Michael says clarity attracts what is true and repels what is not. That is why your path feels cleaner now. Why options feel fewer but stronger. Why decisions feel settled before they are spoken. You are not closing doors. Doors are closing themselves. What remains is what can walk with you at this level. You may feel a quiet confidence in your body, a steadiness in your breath, a calm behind your eyes. That calm is not temporary. It is your new baseline. Nothing needs to chase you now. Nothing needs to convince you. What belongs with you will recognize you instantly. Archangel Michael says this is the stage where timing stops testing patience. It starts honoring readiness. You are ready, not because you tried harder, but because you stopped resisting who you are. Remain in this awareness as you move forward, because from here, your life responds quickly and cleanly, and what arrives next does so without delay. Remain here, because this part explains why your life will now move without interruption. Archangel Michael says there is a threshold where momentum becomes self-sustaining. You do not push anymore. You do not pull anymore. Movement happens because resistance is gone. You have crossed that threshold. You may notice that even when unexpected situations arise, they resolve faster than before. Not because you control them, but because you no longer add tension to them. Calm shortens every process. You are no longer emotionally attached to outcomes. You are present with actions. That presence creates flow. Archangel Michael says when attachment fades, precision increases. Energy stops leaking. Focus remains intact. This is why your days feel cleaner now. Why decisions do not linger. Why regret does not follow you. You move forward and you stay forward. Nothing is circling back to test you again. Lessons that once repeated have completed. Patterns that once returned have dissolved. You are not being observed anymore. You are being supported. Supported by clarity. Supported by steadiness. Supported by alignment. You may feel a quiet gratitude without knowing why. A sense that things are finally settled. That sense is accurate. Archangel Michael says when peace becomes consistent, life honors it. It no longer disrupts it. From this point onward, your energy remains intact as you move. Nothing drains it unexpectedly. Nothing pulls it backward. You are no longer preparing for what is coming. You are already inside it. Stay grounded in this understanding, because from here, progress does not pause. It continues naturally. Stay with this sense of arrival, because this part reveals why your life now feels quietly resolved. Archangel Michael says there is a phase where nothing dramatic happens anymore. And that is how you know you are aligned. Drama belongs to transition. Stillness belongs to truth. You may notice that your emotions feel balanced even when circumstances shift. You adapt without strain. You respond without overthinking. This is not indifference. This is mastery. You are no longer pulled by expectation. You are no longer pushed by fear. You are anchored. Archangel Michael says when a person becomes anchored, the world stops shaking them. Events pass through without leaving damage. Moments arrive and leave cleanly. You will notice that time feels different now. Days feel complete. Nights feel settled. You are present where you are instead of living ahead or behind. This is where peace becomes practical. Not a feeling you wait for. A state you move from. Nothing is unfinished inside you anymore. Questions that once echoed have gone quiet. Answers no longer need words. You trust your steps because you feel the ground beneath them. Archangel Michael says this is the point where your life stops asking for correction. It flows as it is meant to. You are no longer attracting lessons. You are attracting continuity. What belongs with you stays. What does not fades without conflict. Remain in this grounded awareness. Because this stability is not fragile. It is established. And from here, your days unfold without disruption, steady, clear, and whole. Stay here for this final settling. Because this part explains why nothing needs to be proven anymore. Archangel Michael says there is a stage where life stops asking questions of you. It responds. You are no longer auditioning for your future. You are living inside it. Notice how your body feels when you hear that. There is no rush, no tightening, no need to prepare. That ease is confirmation. You have moved beyond becoming. You are being. This is why comparison no longer speaks to you. Why urgency no longer drives you. Why silence feels supportive, not empty. Archangel Michael says when identity stabilizes, destiny stops circling. It settles. You will see results without chasing them. You will feel progress without forcing it. You will experience growth without strain. Nothing is watching you now. Nothing is testing you now. Nothing is waiting for you to fail. You are no longer in a lesson. You are in alignment. This is the point where your days feel honest. Your choices feel clean. Your direction feels obvious without explanation. What arrives in your life now arrives because it belongs. What leaves does so quietly, without loss. There is no fear attached to the future anymore. Only curiosity. Only presence. Archangel Michael says this is the completion you were moving toward the entire time. Not an ending. A grounding. You did not skip because your awareness was ready. You stayed because your season changed. Carry this calm forward. Let it guide your steps. Because from here, your life unfolds without resistance, steady, clear, and fully your own. Remain still with this understanding, because this part reveals why your life will no longer repeat old cycles. Archangel Michael says repetition ends when recognition is complete. You have recognized yourself fully. That is why familiar struggles no longer return. That is why situations that once pulled you backward feel irrelevant now. That is why your attention naturally stays in the present. You are no longer learning who you are. You know. And knowing changes behavior without effort. Archangel Michael says when self-recognition stabilizes, the past loses access. It may exist as memory, but it no longer has influence. You will notice that triggers do not trigger anymore. Old patterns do not activate. Former fears feel distant, almost unfamiliar. This is not suppression. This is release completed. You are now moving forward with clean energy. Nothing unresolved behind you. Nothing heavy ahead of you. This is why your steps feel lighter. Why decisions feel final without force. Why peace feels natural, not earned. Archangel Michael says this is the phase where life stops correcting you. It supports you. Your path no longer bends to test you. It opens to receive you. You are not being shaped anymore. You are being expressed. Everything you do now carries clarity. Everything you choose now carries intention. Everything you release now leaves without resistance. Remain grounded in this awareness. Because this completion is not temporary. It is sealed. And from here, your life moves forward without repetition, without disruption, and without return to the old